Hi guys, welcome back to Nairobi Legal. This video is a continuation of cyber law in Kenya, and specifically for today we are going to be focusing on crimes in Kenya's cyberspace. The following are the key objectives for this particular video, and as you can see from your screen, the first objective is for us to understand what does identity theft mean in the Kenyan context. Then we are going to understand, of course, the penalty for phishing, hacking, and unauthorized access to commit a further crime as far as the Computer Misuse Act of Kenya is concerned. And so these are the key things we set out to achieve. Identity theft is one of the crimes in Kenya's cyberspace, and according to Section 29 of the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act 2018, for a person to commit this crime in Kenya, it means that person fraudulently or dishonestly makes use of electronic signatures or passwords or any other unique identification features. Remember that here you can make a unique identification feature that identifies you, maybe the way you access your accounts online. Now, when that person goes ahead to use this password dishonestly to pose as though they are being you, they commit an offense called identity theft in Kenya. Now, if this person is found liable, upon conviction they're going to pay a fine not exceeding 200,000, meaning that this 200,000 is the limit, or they're going to be imprisoned for term not exceeding 3 years, or both. So you can actually get both penalties for identity theft. Now, what I mean here is that we can have person A and person B, and person B poses to be person A simply because they have access to the passwords of person A. The other thing you need to understand is that currently in Kenya, if you lose your ID, it is very, very important that you report to a police station, because you've seen incidences whereby someone picks up your lost ID and they use that ID to commit a crime, posing as if they were the original owners of that ID, meaning that, of course, if there is a crime, the police is going to be looking for the original owner of that particular ID. So it is very important for you to report when you've lost an ID, because if that happens, then you will have something to rely back on, that, look, I had lost my ID and someone could have used my information. Specifically for identity theft, what I'm trying to mean here is that you need to understand that if someone actually uses your unique identification features, maybe for your computer to access your accounts, to access anything that is supposed to be your own, that person commits a crime as far as the Cybercrime Act of Kenya is concerned. When it comes to phishing, this is provided for under Section 30 of the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act 2018. And remember that each time I'll be talking about a section, I will be referring to that particular act. So what we mean here is that phishing involves someone sending you messages either through a computer system, and mainly the intention is to actually induce you, they're convincing you, either through a website or sending you a message to disclose your personal information, and mostly this is for an unlawful purpose or having access to information that may be used to grant access to a computer system. So this is very common in Kenya. Maybe you go to a website where someone is asking you for particular personal information, and once you give that information, then they can use it for unlawful purpose, or they can even use it to have access to maybe a computer system you're attached to. To put this again more into context, you might have received phone calls from people asking you about your M-Pesa transaction. Like I personally recently received a message, or rather someone called me asking me that he was actually telling me that my M-Pesa SIM card belonged to someone else, and I was wondering at what point can a person actually own a single SIM card. I mean, two people owning the same number with M-Pesa. It doesn't actually make sense. And the guy was convincing me that if I don't actually give particular information, then I'll have to go all the way to the Safaricom headquarters for that verification to be done. So you see, that person induces you to give this information because, again, you don't want to inconvenience yourself by going all the way to the Safaricom offices. So that is how phishing is done. And also, when it comes to the people who randomly call you asking about your M-Pesa, a transaction, or asking any information to do with your SIM card, maybe your name, or rather your SIM card has been registered by someone else. Can we sort that out? Please provide us with this particular information. It could be your name, your ID number, where you live, your date of birth. That person is trying to gather as much information about you as possible so that they can use it for an unlawful purpose, or even sometimes use it to gain access to particular data about you online. So that is what we term as a phishing. Remember, it's done fraudulently, and it's mostly done for someone to gather your information. So the next time you click onto a website, think about phishing. It could be done through an email where someone again wants to get so much information about you, and in that way they can even have access to your bank account. They can have access to your M-Pesa account, withdraw your money simply because you gave in your personal information. Now, as far as this crime is concerned in Kenya, if a person is found liable for phishing, meaning that anytime these committee guys call you, or any other random person calling you to get information about your SIM card and stuff like that, if you're found for the offense of phishing, you're going to pay a fine upon conviction not exceeding 300,000, imprisonment for a term not exceeding 3 years, or even both. So this is the penalty for phishing as far as the law is concerned within the Republic of Kenya. When it comes to illegal devices and hacking tools, the penalties are even stiffer than hacking itself. So if it is a shop that has in its possession tools that can be used for hacking, or tools that can be used to commit any other cyber crimes, that person is going to suffer a penalty upon conviction and not exceeding 20 million, or imprisonment for a term not exceeding 10 years, or both. Now, the penalty for simply possessing these tools is even heavier than hacking itself. So if you open up a shop selling hacking tools, and by hacking what I mean is that these are devices you get, or rather you use to gain unauthorized access to people's computer systems, just possession of this equipment will cost you even much more than hacking itself. Having understood that a supplier or the person selling hacking tools is at even a greater risk than the hacker himself, now I want us to understand what does hacking mean and what penalties come with hacking. According to Section 14 of the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act of Kenya 2018, and every time I say section, that is the act I'm referring to, the offense of hacking is committed where a person, whether temporarily or permanently, causes a computer system to perform a function by infringing security measures, of course with intention to access that system without authorization. So basically, someone tries to get into a computer system. These are the debates you've had before in the news and media. These are the debates you had when you hear that a group of young people are trying to hack into a bank to get money. You've had cases of people hacking the computer system, trying to hack the computer system of NTSA so that they can manipulate car number plates and stuff like that. So they commit an offense of hacking. And upon conviction, if that person is liable, upon conviction, they're going to pay a fine not exceeding 5 million, or imprisonment for 3 years, or even getting both penalties at the same time. Now, as you can see already, that simply possessing hacking tools, will put you even in much more trouble than hacking itself. So, as a student, you need to understand that if a person is trying to get access to someone's computer system, whether it is for a short time or a long time, that will be considered hacking, which is a crime within the Republic of Kenya. So next time again you think of hacking a device, remember that it is a serious offense that can make someone go bankrupt. Now, furthermore to hacking, there's also a scenario whereby someone will have unauthorized access to commit a further crime, meaning that I'd simply hack into your computer system because I just want to have access, and on top of that access, I commit a further crime. So the liability here is a fine not exceeding 10 million or imprisonment for a term not exceeding 10 years or both. Meaning that sometimes maybe I'm hacking the system. You can maybe, again, taking you back to the example I normally use, person A and B. Yeah. So in this case, person B hacks person A's computer system to get unauthorized access to that system, and after having that access, they go ahead to commit a further crime. Yeah. So if person B has hacked person A's computer, then that person B has access to that particular information, and maybe after having this information, person B goes ahead maybe to transfer money. Now that is a criminal. That is rather an offense that involves a fraud. You've had access to someone's personal information, now you're using it to steal money. So of course that becomes a crime, and the penalty increased from the previous 5 million and the previous 3 years to 10 million and 10 years accordingly. So you need to understand this as a student, so that before you indulge in this kind of behavior, you know the penalty. Now, up to this point, I'm sure you must have noticed that these cyber crimes committed in Kenya could land someone in jail or even bankruptcy, meaning that you can go completely broke simply because you're possessing hacking tools, simply because you created a website and you're trying to fish out for people's information, and here you are paying heavy penalties for these cyber crimes committed in Kenya. Remember that the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act 2018 is fully in force, and as a student of cyber law, you need to understand that this is the position currently within the Republic of Kenya as we speak. Now, in the next video, I want us to discuss about posting pornography online. This is also in law. What is the implication of someone sharing a pornographic video on Twitter? Remember that when it's done with a larger audience, it's funny, but if that pornographic video is specifically affecting a particular person, then things again go out of being fun to the reality of a lawsuit. So I want us to discuss about pornography. What are the implications? Remember also we discussed in the previous video about cyber harassment, and that crime attracts a penalty of up to 20 million and imprisonment of up to 10 years or even both. So these are the key things we need to understand, and we have to also remember that the Inspector General of Police and Director of Public Prosecutions have received court orders to actually enforce the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act of Kenya 2018. So if you're new here, remember to subscribe so that we keep on learning from each other. Thank you.